Coming up, Randy Moss has always been able to blow past defenders, but the All-Pro wideout has often had trouble outrunning controversy.
I don't give a damn what they talk about.
Now, the enigmatic receiver sits down with Chris Myers and reveals a surprisingly soft side to his split personality.
What should we know about Randy the guy?
You know, I'm more laid back than people think or would expect me to be.
Moss also speaks candidly about being a role model to his 4 kids, what he really thinks about Packer fans, his history with marijuana, and his rocky road out of Minnesota.
Did Dante Culpepper betray you?
At the time that I did get traded, I didn't feel it was right.
Join us for the next 30 minutes and find out what really makes Randy Moss tick. Right now on another sure-handed edition of CMI, the Chris Myers Interview.
Hi, and welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us. One of the best at his craft and one of the more controversial players in the game. Nice to be with Randy Moss. Randy, how are you?
All right, how are you?
Good. Thanks for taking a moment to talk to us. When I say controversial and attach it to your name, what comes to mind?
I think that it's a lot of things being said and done is taken well out of text, and I guess that, you know, controversy has stuck with me over the last probably about 3 or 4 years. So something I'm not comfortable with, but it's just something I have to deal with. So I have no problem with it.
Yeah, I remember you said you don't look for trouble, but trouble sometimes finds you. Now in Oakland, will we see a different Randy Moss?
I think you'll see a different Randy Moss of how, you know, I'll take the, you know, the game off the field as far as, you know, the organization, what they wanted me to do, what they need me to do. But as far as Randy Moss on the field and, you know, how I go out there and play, being competitive and things like that, no, it's not going to change. So
along those lines, if people wanted to get to know Randy Moss, we see the guy on the field and the incredible numbers that you put up. But what should we know about Randy the guy?
I think that I try to live my life normal day to day, just like the average human being, and you know, I don't try to carry myself as a superstar until I hit the field. And you know, away from the field, you know, I relax. I try to go shopping. I try to go out to dinner. So I do normal things that normal people do, and you know, I'm more laid back than people think or would expect me to be. And you know, I like to have fun, and having fun, you know, consists of, you know, playing video games, playing a little basketball, swimming, fishing. You know, like I said, normal things people do.
There are some guys, athletes especially, who perform at their best when they feel like the world's against them. Everybody's against them. Nobody understands at that time. It's almost like their battle cry. Sometimes I get the sense, or at least people get the sense about you that way. Is that part of your motive sometimes, your motivation?
I think that what motivates me. And, you know, like you said, a lot of players are like that, or maybe a few. I just think the negative, you know, side of what people say and, you know, what they say and what they don't see is not right for us as athletes. But that's something that pushes me and drives me to go out there and prove people wrong. It's just more of me, you know, just trying to go out there and do what I need to do, no matter if my back's against the wall or not. So I try to perform.
Are you happy to be out of Minnesota? I know you're happy to be in Oakland, but there's 2 parts to that.
I think that I had a lot of heart and you know, a lot of heart and a lot of energy that I put into playing for the Minnesota Vikings. And you know, my off seasons over the last 4 years were very intense, and I tried to get back to being a dominant receiver because, you know, I get doubled, I get triple coverage, and you know, it's just something that I always tried to do, is try to show up for my team when needed. And, you know, I can really honestly say that I left a lot of that as far as my feelings and how I felt about the game for the Vikings in Minnesota.
Did you pout when you were in Minnesota at all? I heard that about, you know, you hear things.
I only pouted when things were going bad. And, you know, I didn't really care, you know, who was scoring touchdowns, who was getting the recognition. It was just more of, if we were winning, then I'm happy. But if we're losing and, you know, I'm not getting any balls, then I feel that I'm not doing my job. You pay me a certain amount of dollars to make things happen. But, I mean, if I don't get, you know, the ball coming my way, in losing situations, then how, can I somewhat be responsible, but at the same time, it is a team sport. So, I mean, there was a lot of things that frustrated me in Minnesota. I can honestly say that. But, now that I'm gone, I think that I do miss it a little bit. But, I'm trying to make a new home here in California.
Did Dante Culpepper betray you? Do you feel betrayed?
I don't know what I say I felt, or what do you want to call it. I think that Dante really wanted to be the main focal point, the main leader of the team, and I really didn't have no problem with that. I just didn't want me and him to clash, and the two of us to get in the way of what the team's trying to do. So at the time that I did get traded, I didn't feel it was right. But once a lot of people start talking, and the more you hear and the things you read in the papers, I'm like, yeah, I am glad that I got out of there. So I don't think it was betrayal. I think it was just, it's something that he felt was right, and he stood up for what was right. And, I don't have a problem with that, because this is a business. This is not really the game of football that we're used to growing up playing.
All right, we'll continue with Randy Moss here on CMI. We'll talk to him about his own clothing line, overcoming some of the issues of the past. And Randy, the father, that's straight ahead here in just a moment on CMI.
Coming up on CMI.
In terms of the league testing marijuana,
I know how to conduct myself, and it's just nothing that I have a problem with, no.
Also coming up.
I was there on the field in Green Bay, and the mock mooning.
It's just something that, I regret, because it came out negative.
You're watching the Chris Myers Interview with Randy Moss.
Play fake, Collins throwing for a wide open Randy Moss. Touchdown Raiders.
Welcome back to CMI. We're talking with Randy Moss of the Raiders. Of all your accomplishments so far, which is your prized accomplishment on the field?
To be honest with you, I really don't have one. I mean, there's a lot of games and a lot of things that I've done that stands out, but just to have one that's the number one thing that I've done that I'm really proud of, I really don't have anything. Because to my eyes, I really haven't done anything. Just play football and just showcase my talents. But, from an individual standpoint, I've done, a couple things, setting records here, second records there. But from a team standpoint, I've done nothing, and that's what I want to do. I want to win a championship. I want to play in a Super Bowl. I just want to have success, and that's what, my mindset is. Any
question in your mind that you're the best receiver in the NFL today?
I think that what I've accomplished, from a receiver standpoint, and as an individual, and I don't really like using that word as an individual, because this is a team sport, but I think that what I've accomplished, when given certain situations and big games and doubled and triple coverage, coming up with the catch, run after the catch, I think that right now in this game today makes me the number one receiver, and that's why I strive and work as hard as I do, in season and off season, because I want to continue to be the best.
Not to rehash old stuff, but I was there on the field in Green Bay when the Vikings in the playoff game and the mock mooning. Mm-hmm. What, in a sentence or two, explain, was that you having fun? Was it payback? Was it revenge? Just to clear the record.
I think it was a little bit of both. At the same time, I think it was more of a payback, because that, my 7-year career in Minnesota, I mean, I loved playing at Lambeau Field. That's one of the memories I'll take with me to my grave, is being able to play at Lambeau. And, being, how nasty and rude the fans are, it was more of me having fun with the fans and, not trying to be, too mean and too nasty. But it's just something I felt, they do it to me, so why not get them back? And, I didn't really think that it was going to blow up as big as it did. And it's just something that, I regret, because it came out negative, or people perceived it and made it to be negative. So if I could do it again, I probably wouldn't do it. with the mooning part, but I'll probably have fun with them some other way.
I want to go back to mid-'90s marijuana possession issue, some jail time, a probation violation, something in the past. But in terms of the league testing marijuana, is that something that you, I don't know, have learned a lot from over time?
I think that, by me experimenting with, marijuana and, being a sports figure was something that a lot of sports figures do. And, it's up to us to watch, what we put in our body, if it's good or if it's bad. And, by me being in this league, it's just something I've been able to control of the marijuana issue that I had back in the day. And, the league does their testing and, their street drugs and their enhancement drugs, such as steroids. And, they got a grip of what they need to do. And it's just something that I've gotten away from as far as, abusing drugs or marijuana. I wouldn't say drugs.
Right.
So, but, I know how to conduct myself, and it's just nothing that I have a problem with, no.
And forget role model. I mean, you're a father. You have 4 children, which I don't know many. What's the age range, like 11?
11 and a half to 2.
Okay, so Randy Moss, a father. I
Yeah.
mean, how does Randy Moss, we know you're an all-pro player. How's
Right.
Randy Moss as a father?
Well, I try to be an all-pro to my children. It's something very, very hard for me, and a lot of dads that travel a lot can really, know where I'm coming from as far as, me being there for my kids, as far as, giving them baths at night, putting them to bed.
Going to school.
Yeah, I mean, I do the normal things that any father would do. And, since I'm on the road a lot and not being able to spend that much time with them.
And they live back east, right?
Yeah, they live on the East Coast. And it's something that really gets me down, because when I come home from a game or something's bothering me, then I want to have the comfort and the love that I know that these people, or these are my children, they love me no matter what.
Right,
So
right.
It's just something that, that I miss over the last couple of years in Minnesota, because my family hasn't been with me. They've been on the East Coast. And, now that I'm in Oakland, hopefully, they can come out here and live with me, so we can be a family again.
Well, and financially, they're set, right?
Oh,
Something
yeah,
you didn't have
yeah.
growing up. But so do you worry that, not that kids will be spoiled, but that, I don't know, that they won't know the struggle that kind of you had growing up?
I think that's what I try to teach my kids, because, any given moment, I mean, you could be taken from this earth and taken away from your family just like that. And one thing that I try to, beat into my kids' head is, make sure you take care of the right things and not the wrong things. And, I think the wrong things at this day and age is money. And that's one thing that I try to teach them.
So money's not the answer to problems?
Not my problems, no.
Yeah.
Because, I mean...
Aren't you a little better off, though, than when you were growing up and didn't have as much money?
I think because you have access to do maybe a few more things that you couldn't do when, living in the struggle. And, that's why I still live my life, today as if, I'm still sort of in the struggle, because I don't spend money a lot, and, I don't let my kids spend money. I don't even, to be honest with you, I don't buy my kids a lot of stuff.
Okay.
If I buy them a birthday present or a Christmas present, it might be one thing. I don't go out and spend, thousands of dollars. Now, their mother, and grandparents and aunts and uncles, that's on them. But, as far as me being dad and me having access to money, I don't really buy my kids anything, to be point blank.
All right, we'll continue with Randy Moss. In fact, we'll talk about one of the great influences of his life, his mother Maxine, and how she raised a Randy, when we come back here on CMI.
Coming up on CMI.
You can honestly sit here and tell us that if the Raiders are winning, but you're not getting the football, that Randy Moss will still be a happy guy.
I'm still going to be cool, man.
Also coming up.
I want everything to be done right, and in this game, it's not always done right. So I think that's where I get carried away with maybe, my attitude.
Coming up next on the Chris Myers Interview with Randy Moss. Can the Pro Bowl receiver get the controversy monkey off his back in Oakland?
I don't feel like that I need to change, because I really haven't done anything wrong. I'm a good guy, I'm a cool guy.
Also on the way, what designs does Moss have on a post-football career?
I'm into a little bit of fashion, a little bit, and I really don't dress like it.
That's next when the Chris Myers Interview with Randy Moss returns.
Welcome back here on CMI. We're talking with Randy Moss of the Raiders, and you actually kind of ventured into the business area with your own clothing line, which is the hat you're wearing. The Randy Moss collection is part of that?
Yes, this hat is going to be with the Randy Moss collection, and I have, my figurine it's called the Grab Man.
Okay.
And
that's you catching the ball?
Yeah, it's able me to grab, and the reason why I left it one-handed because I'm able to make those one-handed catches, and it's just something I tried to. I'm into a little bit of fashion, a little bit, and I really don't dress like it, but I am. But it's just something I want to do is try to just adventure, out there because, you only live once, and the things that I try to do is try to make the best of anything that I do. So it's just something I'm coming up with. So
yeah, you really seem like, with all your success, like a very simple, easygoing guy. Would you say you're a shy guy? I heard some people say you're aloof, but then teammates say, no, he's fun to hang out with.
I think it's just more of me getting comfortable around, certain individuals. And, I try to be laid back because that's just me. A country boy. You could sit me on the porch with, a glass of sweet tea and a hat and, let me sit
Go
back.
fishing?
I do the things that country people do. I'm not a big city guy. And, I don't really party a lot. I'm not a big clubber.
Okay.
So, I'm usually at home, with my family. I try to be very, very family oriented to where, that's all I got is my family. So that's all I know.
And your mom, Maxine,
Yes.
growing up, I worked, 2, maybe even 3 jobs at some point back in West Virginia to raise you, and 2 other children?
I got a older brother, and another sister,
okay.
yes.
And what, moms obviously are great influences on all their children, but when you talk about the sacrifices she made, things that she did for you in your life, how would you relay that to the audience, describe that?
I think the way that I was taught and the way I grew up was more of me, raising myself in a certain sense because my mother was always trying to provide financially for the 3 of us, where she wasn't home all the time, and it was just something we had to deal with as far as like meals and the love that we received from one another and also her. So I think now that I'm older, it's just something that I will never forget, and I think about a lot. But as a kid, me growing up, I thought that was normal.
Everybody had to do that?
Yeah, I thought that was just in a normal household.
Well, where did the discipline come from? And tell me about, was it Mr. Do-Right that was a paddle?
No, my mama whooped us with a stitching cord.
Oh, okay.
And we called that the number 1 stunner. So
the stun gun before there was a stun gun.
So she really whooped some.
Now, what would she whoop you for? What for? Not doing homework or?
Oh man, that's
nothing,
a definite. That's a definite.
Okay.
If not doing my homework, the house not being cleaned up, not being in the house at a certain time. So I got my discipline, and that's just something that I still think about to this day of why we got discipline like that. But if I could change it, I probably wouldn't have it no other way.
Well, because I think people on the outside, when they watch you as a player, or they hear about some of the things off the field, they say, "Well, there's a not very disciplined guy, that Randy Moss."
I think that people get the misconception of me being raised up to where I'm at now, and by me being raised up, is a lot of things that I've been through, and if it's not just, spending time in jail in high school and getting kicked out of Notre Dame and Florida State. It's just something that a lot of kids go through, and
then they don't make it. They don't reach.
Yeah, and that's just something I try to preach to kids today is to follow your dreams, no matter what comes in the way, to try to overcome and jump over any obstacles. And by me being successful with all I've been through, it's just like I can really tell it because what I've been through is real, and it is the truth. So, I try to, talk to kids, whenever I get a chance of how real life really is.
You seem a little more relaxed or a little more trusting of whether it's media, fans, or maybe new environment. Is that accurate?
You're on the same line. I think that I do feel relaxed. I do feel relieved, and I'm kind of happy right now. So I can, go out and play this game of football like it's supposed to be played.
You're a straightforward guy. You can honestly sit here and tell us that if the Raiders are winning, but you're not getting the football, that Randy Moss will still be a happy guy.
I'm still gonna be cool, man. I mean, I've done a lot of things that a lot of receivers will never accomplish, and I don't really live on that. I don't live on my accomplishments.
So you don't have any goals record-wise other than the Super Bowl title?
I have probably my first time I've had really a personal goal that I really, really want, and that is the touchdowns in the regular season. And
the Jerry Rice 22?
22, okay, Jerry Rice. And,
record.
I really didn't pay attention to it to this year because, I've had 17 twice, and,
Even last year, if you were healthy, when you figure out the numbers.
I could have came close for that. So it's just nothing I really try to think about, but now that a lot of people's brought it to my attention about 90-some touchdowns in 7 years and this and this and that, I really don't look at those type of numbers. I can honestly say I can't really tell you how many exact touchdowns that I have in 7 years. I just know it's 90-something. And, I don't pay attention to no stats, nothing whatsoever. But I think that if I could win a Super Bowl or, from an individual standpoint to get the touchdown record, I think that I could be satisfied. But I want to win. I want to win a Super Bowl. So if I could put all that other stuff aside and win a Super Bowl, I'll be happy. I'll be complete.
And finally here, when fans watch, they'll see you catch the ball and score touchdowns. If they hear about something else about Randy Moss away from the field, what would you like them to think of first as a general Randy rule?
I think it's just more of getting to know me. I think that over the last couple months, I've made myself open, a little bit more open to the media.
But you're still your own guy.
I'm still the same guy. And, I don't feel like that I need to change because I really haven't done anything wrong. I'm a good guy. I'm a cool guy. I'm cool and calm to hang around, but when it comes to the game that I know and love, I'm serious about my game. And I think that's what gets me carried away sometimes of how, I just want things to be perfect when it comes to football. I want the defense to be perfect, special teams, offense, coaching. I want everything to be done right. And in this game, it's not always done right. So I think that's where I get carried away with maybe, my attitude or really that nonchalant, cocky look. So, when people see me, going off on the wrong end or say something that I will regret or hopefully I won't, but if I do, then I think that's just all has to do with just playing football because that's all I know.
The new and improved Randy, but still the same old Randy underneath. Well, thanks a lot for taking the time. We really wish you the best of luck.
All right, appreciate it.
It's always good to talk to you. Randy Moss with us on CMI. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time. Take care.
For more on this episode of CMI and to see upcoming guests on the Chris Myers Interview, log on to foxsports.com and MSN.